Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to review Lossless. For those who are unfamiliar with how my channel works, I put research into a model. The model has an output. The output I weigh against reality. I reflect and modify, and then hopefully correlate the model to a higher ROI over the long term. This is an iterative process. The model is something I iterate on, and I try to correlate it to make accurate predictions about projects. This is the model. The project is Lossless, and I'm going to dive right into it. What problem does this solve? It's a hack mitigation tool, toolkit. So basically, the service is provided by the Lossless as an entity is code, APIs. APIs are application interfaces. Basically, services provided to programmers, project owners, developers. It's basically just service protection, a layer or tools or functionalities that allow for projects to add a little bit of a mitigation force against hacks, those kind of things. So it's basically just hacker mitigation. They use monitoring, artificial intelligence. You can imagine that there'd be many different ways that they can build analytical toolkits, wrapped tokens, APIs, etc., that can help mitigate the damages felt by hacks, which hacks are very common in the crypto space, and I expect them to continue to be a persistent thing. They use monitoring, decision making, and insertion of code, and they use contracts, and they can wrap tokens. So that's just a basic flyover. That freeze. So one of the ways they can do it is they can use something like freeze fraud transactions and return the funds. For instance, how big is this market opportunity? It's, like in 2021, it was, over $4 billion. Here I have 1.3, but I did some further research. There's been about $4 billion in damages so far in hacked funds. North Korea is basically outputting developers that's explicitly, or they just exclusively focus on hacking crypto because it's one way that North Korea can make money. So there's a whole entire country. There's all kinds of hackers out there. I think it's just going to keep getting worse. So you definitely need a project like this. And basically another way I say how integration code into projects, hack spotting API bots, freeze hacker accounts. They could do hacker identification accounts. And also they have something called LBTC or LETH. So that's pretty cool. I think that service is going to be pretty cool when that goes live. So that's just a general gist of what they do. So I'm going to jump right into what I expect for price performance, or at least what the model expects for price performance. Future increase in ban from a token, model expects that to be the case. Price FOMO, model expects that to be the case. Major upcoming events, the roadmap looks pretty decent. One thing to consider on the roadmap in February, they were Europe is in a pretty bad position right now on the macro scale because of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. But let's take a look at that roadmap. Some of the things that they said they would deliver, Q1 was the SDK, the core protocol, and the token minter and wrapped ERC. So they delivered on the core protocol and token minter, but they didn't deliver on the wrapped yet. So we can expect that probably in Q3 or Q4 sometime within that period. There's also going to be security oracles services, which they are delivering. They also have something called Aegis that they delivered, which is this scans block transactions and analyzes for malicious activity, etc. So these are some of the things that are offered now and completed. But as far as what will be completed, I think as far as what is good for the roadmap coming up is the wrapped functionalities. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's a concept that could go far and could potentially lead to more market share for them, more customers, because if more people use these L tokens, they can have some. I don't know how well they're gonna. I would like to see more examples of them mitigating hacks. But they got to spread and they got to get more customers, and then we can get an example. Hopefully, we can get an example. I mean, I don't want anyone to get hacked, but it would be nice to see an example of someone getting hacked with using their services and seeing how well they do at handling that. I think these wrapped tokens are going to be available soon. That'll be pretty neat. At least it will make. I personally have experienced hacks in the crypto space, so would I be more like? Here's the question. Would I be more likely to use an L Ethereum versus just a regular Ethereum in an application? I would rather use the L Ethereum because at least it makes me think that there's another layer of protection that might help my assets get, a little more protection. Because I'm not a fan of these hacks. They happen all the time. And, like if there's anything that could make me have that sense of security, like a wrapped token that has some protection layer, I would absolutely choose that over a non-wrapped version. But that will have an associated cost as well, so you have to think about those things. As far as the social media goes for this, it's early in social media, so this project is not something that's like heavily on the radar or heavily promoted. Inflation rates are neutral. Regarding the funding or recent price action. So, we're in a bear market, so it's always green right now because everything's down, the world is pessimistic. So this is a general time to convert cash into cryptos. Could it go lower? Absolutely, but this is the time when you're going to get a green output from price action because everything's down, everyone's pessimistic, so it's a good time in general. How have they performed? They're down 23% over the past year versus the average crypto, which is down 50% over the past year. So it's outperformed the average crypto, which is good. Nothing too scary with their ICO performance. We're seeing a monthly return of about, from the token sale, it's 5.7 or 14% between, the funds raised. So funds raised 14%, but, the number you should be thinking about is they've got a 5.7% return since when they went live. 14 months. I got to make sure I write that down next time. But they, when this math was used, from when they raised funds for the project and the token sale. At 14 months, they're running at 5.7%, which is pretty good, but it's not too risky as far as dumpage goes. And since this is a low market cap, we don't have to be too concerned with dumpage because, dumpage typically happens when something's running a lot and it gets a high market cap. Because remember, all tokens start from zero. So, that's an infinite return if you really think about it. So you got to think about these returns from those kind of standpoints. But one of the things I will say that is yellow on funds raised, it's kind of low. They didn't raise a lot of money, something like $2 million, $2.7 million. So that's not a lot of money. That's not a lot of room to do stuff for, a team of people, So hopefully they can get some more funding or hopefully they can get, some traction because they will need more funding to be encouraged and to deliver. But for the most part, I'll just put neutral for ICO because just because of the smallness of the amount that they've raised. Now, the token model is excellent, so you don't have to worry about distribution and things like that. It has a great token model. Actually, I'll get right into that. The decision rights on services of action. So the token is definitely an integral part of the system. It is governance rights. It is also, you stake LSS to freeze accounts. The ability to perform the action of reporting or freezing accounts with the, services that, provided is that token. The token is part of the decision making of the entity. The token is part of the protection services. If it turns out that a hack that was reported by an LSS staker is true, they get a reward. If they report it and cause people's funds to be frozen, it's only frozen for 24 to 48 hours. That's a minor inconvenience for the person who receives the frozen funds, but for the person who reports it, they lose all their LSS. So you don't want to be on the end of bad reporting. How did the fee breakdown go? 7% for this fee of reporting. If whatever amount they save, it's only cost 7. They get 7%, which is pretty good. It's better they get 7% for protecting against a full 100% hack. 2% goes to finder, 2% to stakers, 2% to the committee, 1% to the lossless company. And you need 2,500 LSS to have the rights to start being able to report. So the token is an integral part. It is definitely part of the design of this project. Value of the target market, I'd say it's very huge. I'm going to say it's multi-trillion. I think that hacks are going to continue to happen. I think funds getting stolen are going to continue to happen. And there's always going to be people motivated to hack and exploit contracts. These guys will always have a future. If they keep going forward, there's always going to be a market. They can always find customers and they can always get paid. I can always imagine that because having an extra layer of security is something that everybody wants in this field. We want to get it to a place where it's where you can feel, where you can think that your money is protected through strategic services provided. So there's a very large market, which is very good. Money needed to move up token price goes down. Token sell side to decrease, expect that. It is a low market cap. 10 million right now, circulating, diluted 17 million. Current price, 17 cents. So this is a low market cap. Liquidity depth. Now this is something to think about, regarding services provided. It's got its liquidity depth is a third of where I'd like to see a healthy liquidity depth. So it definitely needs to get more buy and sell action. So that's something that's negative for it. But it does have, some customers which look pretty good. So it is servicing a niche now. Now, just to give you a general look. Now, none of these names really stick out to me. These are the partners, and these are the protocol integrations. So you can overlook this right now and see if anyone sticks out to you. Like these names none of these seem like big time players to me, on both sides. There's Polygon over here, which looks good. But that's about the biggest one I can see for the partners. And how much of Polygon is really partnered with them, how much of their integrations are going there. If it's big, that'd be great if they're getting used by that one. But that's the biggest name I could notice on that, on their partners / customers. So, because none of the names stick out, I'll just put neutral for partners on this model. So no major on boards, etc. Regarding the governance design of this token, the token is in control of it. So I'd say that this thing is medium. But, there are some centralized entities, but it's a service provider entity. And the community, the token has a voice. So I'd say it's medium in its decentralization. But there are some centralized entities that could be attacked theoretically, but I don't think, I don't think that's the biggest risk. So I put governance at green because the token is control over it. It gives the community a voice. The token represents decision making, and it is an integral part. So it is it's part of the governance. So I put it as green. Let me put this as red. Get rid of that. All right. Now all these things that governance affects and the general design. Developer motivation, developer experience, high value upgrades, value services to increase. I expect all these things to continue to persist forward. They have an excellent market opportunity. They are needed. This is a highly needed service provided. So I expect these things to continue. The team looks like they'll continue delivering that. Now, I will say that there is some risk. So the team looks good. Team has experience, in development, security, etc. But the big risk here is their location is Lithuania, so it's possibly hit by the Russian-Ukraine crisis, which means that hopefully the region is good. Europe in general, I don't know, like they have energy problems right now. There's, but being a software company, they could work on a train, so to speak. They can work in anywhere. So hopefully the people, the teams in this are not feeling that crisis too extensively, because if they are, then that would take away from their ability to deliver high quality work, because they're dealing with families, dealing with crises. These are things to think about, to consider in this region that I don't have a map right now, but it's within general regions north of Ukraine. So how badly will this be affected by that war? How badly will it be affected by refugees? How badly will it be affected by the resource allocations? I guess time will tell, but that is one of the risk components here, and that's why I put all this team stuff as yellow, even though they seem like high-quality people. The region in general, Europe in general, not looking good in the macro scale because of these destabilization events that are happening there. But as far as everything else goes, like how well the design of this is to get developers to develop high-quality stuff, this thing is designed pretty well to create those entities to have good employees, to continue to develop good services. And they've been delivering on their promises, so that's good. Token per side. Okay, so will large business models demand the token? This is actually one of those projects that they probably will. Like I would imagine some big business models would want to hold the token and be involved. And because we do need security, and you want that layer, because your business can be destroyed overnight if you get hacked. So anything that could give a little bit of reassurance there is definitely worth it, even if it's 3% or 5% of all you make. Anything that could hopefully mitigate the feeling of or the hack risk. That's why I believe that this is a good market for this project. All right, that's a general flyover of the model. Final analysis or the final summary. Low market cap with accomplished CEO, I put no. Early social media, I put yes. Live niche, I put yes. Pros, very large market opportunity. Good token design. Low market cap. Recent price action. We're in a bear market, so these are all pros. Cons, not much funding. Not much really in partnerships, and the location conflicts might lead you to be like me to hope that the team's doing well in a crisis area, which is generally Europe right now. But they're not in Ukraine, so that's to be stated. All right, so that's a general summary. Next, I'll go to my Patreon exclusive analysis. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.